Hello everyone, welcome back to LaserPound Games. Today we're going to be talking about Diablo 4 Endgame. Basically everything we can do, and any problems and opinions I have on what we can do to make it better. First we're going to start with Renown, which you're going to be working on as you level up through the story anyway. You just won't really know too much about it. You can access it by hitting Tab and W. You can see here we'll have 5 different zones, and you're going to be working on progressing through 5 different tabs each. You can see here I kind of only have 2 zones fully completed. At the end you'll unlock 4 paragons, but if you do the first 3 you'll get 2 extra skill points and an extra potion, which I ended up doing first, and now I'm going to end up working on the last 2 tiers of the other 3 zones. Also, fighting the little statues will get you extra stats as well. So it is actually good to complete those. And you don't really need to complete all the side quests or all the dungeons. You can kind of choose between the two by doing strongholds. First, to get some quick progress is nice because you get 100 points for doing a stronghold, and if there's a waypoint in it you basically end up with 120, and then a lot of times there's a dungeon or little statue in the extra area as well. So you will be working on that. It does get really grindy and annoying trying to find that many little statues and do that many quests, but the rewards are definitely worth it in the end, and we'll get there eventually. Although it is becoming definitely pretty grindy. Okay, so after that we're going to be dealing with Tree of Whispers when you hit World Tier 3. You'll hit there in the story, but you can see down here we have the actual tree, and then throughout the map you're going to see these locations pop up in certain zones, and there'll be a timer on it. And if you complete a dungeon you get 5 favor, and some of the other ones will be 3 or 1. You build up to 10, and I guess we can go show because I have it completed right now. And then you go hand in for a reward. Now this is a lot more effective on tier 3 when you're only looking for sacred items. Sometimes you'll see like a legendary one appear here too on tier 4, but it's usually going to have like 1 legendary in it. Sometimes you get nothing. It's not great. You will get XP and your sigils from here to start, so you will need to do a few if you want to get the sigil dungeon started quicker. Sigil, whatever you want to call it. So we open that. We got some gloves here and some gems. But you can see they're sacred, and I'm looking for ancestral anyway, so unless the power's that good, most of the time it's going to fall off when you get to World Tier 4. Stuff that in, and then we'll... Good thing is there's a store here and a blacksmith. Alright, so you'll be doing those for extra, but then this will open here, Hellfire. So you'll see the Hellfire zones. Helltide like rises, and you can go into those zones and collect. You'll see when you kill monsters. Oh, loading in.
Not in town.
Wait, did it lie to us? Is there only a minute left? Well, we'll go see for a minute then before it like falls off. Basically, you're going to be in these zones, and when you kill enemies, you're going to get these little cinders. You're going to want to click when you run by these little plants too. If you see them on the side, anything on the side like plants or whatever, click them. There's a special plant I think that gives you extra as well. But you're going to be looking for... We didn't even have time to get there. There's basically these chests, and they all have different cinder costs to open. Might be able to see one before the time runs out. Yeah, there's one right here on the mini map right here. You can see it. Can I get there in time? I don't know. Probably not. Oh wait, there's one right here. This one costs 75, which is not great. There's usually a couple 175 cost ones, and they're the best ones to open. They'll usually give you 2 to 4 legendaries, and a lot of times you can get Sacred to Ancestral in those. You can see that the zone just expired. Then you lose all your cinders when the zone expires. You also lose half them for dying, so you gotta watch out. You don't be risky, but basically you're gonna run around, try and complete as many of the little orange zone events as you can. Those will get you a lot of cinders, and just click everything you can. And then you might need to run around. If you're in a party, people can split up to look for the chests, or you can just look on a map. I think on people have mapped them out, and you can find out where the 175s are, because opening the other ones usually gets you like nothing. It's not worth it. So try to open as many as the 175s as you can, and that's pretty much Helltides. After that, there is a few PvP zones. Here we'll go. So there's some PvP zones, and you can try to PvP. I mean, I went in and you just get ganked. You can get ganked by groups of people, and it kind of really sucks. Obviously, the problem is if you want to have a PvP spec and a PvE spec, you just can't right now. There's no dual spec, and trying to change stats is really bad. But there's usually good clusters of enemies actually in the PvP zone, so if you're trying to farm stuff, and you will have to enter anyway, is a problem. So you'll see that there's little statues and discovery XP for running the zone. That guy's on my team, so it's weird. They have teams in the PvP zone too, so you'll get some people on your team randomly. It's an extraction. Little events you can do in the PvP, but no one really cares. There'll be people that are still he's killing, and you can get. So you'll see some Seeds of Hatred drop, and then you can try to bring them to one of these statues, and then actually collect them and go spend them on some PvP crap. I don't really care about that stuff, so you'll defend this, but like they see it on the map though, so all the enemies will see that you're trying to perform the ritual to basically cash out of whatever you've collected. Now if you come here with a group, obviously it's a lot easier. So that's what I would suggest, is just party up if you're going to come do some PvP. Otherwise you could I mean, you might have a total PvP build and be slaughtering people, but I don't. I'm like an AoE PvE build, so I get absolutely wrecked. I can still kill monsters in here. And see if I can cash out my 52. So you can see here I have some red dust to get, and then it's gonna. Oh, all right. That's an enemy player, I think, isn't it? Or no? Did the other guy kill him? Oh shoot, we're under. I don't even know anymore how many players are here. Is it just a boss? No, that's a player. He just kills both. Sometimes it shows them as a skull on the map, so you can see that. At that point, I'm like, oh, it's just a werewolf. Wait, the 3 of us died there? It looked like they're okay. So next up, what we got here? We got legions. So there's one appeared actually right here. We'll go check it out. It's in not a great spot. Have to run over. Legions are really good for XP, not the best for loot.
Not in town.
Usually recommend to, if you get there ahead of the time, try and just like party up with as many people as you can. Try and get a full party, because then you'll get more XP from other people's stuff you couldn't tag yourself. I don't really do a lot of legions anymore because the loot is not so great, and I'm not really worried about leveling up faster because if you've noticed that you kind of get weaker for leveling in this game because you don't get new loot. The loot drops are very slow and far between for actually pieces that you can use. So let's see if we can. Oh yeah, there's a campfire here you're supposed to click to for extra XP. Well, you might as well do that, and then you can kind of walk around and invite some people to party. See if they join. No? Yeah, okay. Alright, we got some. Maybe we made some friends, maybe? No? You? 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 Just spam them, they'll usually join. Just hit E. Starting in 55 seconds. And Thief, join the party. I refuse. Up to fire. Guess we can put on a consumable XP just for this anyway. Come on now. Soon. We will do the Legion. They don't take that long. Just usually a couple minutes anyway. Not even about you can try to get the kills yourself, but it's more about running around trying to tag as many enemies as possible. Whatever you tag, you'll get some XP out of that. Well, I have pretty good enemy AoE, so I should be able to tag a lot. What are these guys doing down here? I put up a lot of these little like stones and stuff that give protection to whatever mob boss too, so you have to kill them first. But you're basically just running around zerging everything as a group. And then so you'll get some, depending on how you do as a group, you'll get 1, 2, or 3 chests, and usually the loot is kind of terrible actually. So we'll see how we do. Playing marksman, shooting shot, rogue. Oh, why did I have to? Okay, so you see here we have the beams. Kill these idols first, or we can't even damage the boss anyway. I don't know why. Oh, there's an idol there too. More damage at range, but oh. I think the boss is out, but he got stunned and killed immediately. So, oh, here we go. Most of the time you don't even have to get on your horse because you just go in between. I guess if you're in a build that doesn't have a lot of movement, the horse always helps. And go up this way. So I'm in a different spot than the rest of my teammates. Oh, that guy might die. Where are you going? Oh. Like we're gonna get Shaman. Oh, get back here. Just get it. Very on point. And I don't know why there's always this delay too, where they won't come out, but oh, I got more idols to kill. Rocks. Demonic corruption. Oh, we got him narrowed down. Oh, like the the protections last longer than the actual boss. A lot of times you can't, the enemies are dead before you even see them. There you go. Yep. Yep. One player die, let's throw them. I mean, I guess if you're fresh level and you don't have the gear yet, you can definitely die here, but it's usually really easy. I always stay out on the outside too and just... Hey, who exploded now? Oh, someone else got him. We got one more Servant of Hell, and then we get the Mega Boss. Just firing into the barrier. There we go, Corrupted Growth. And Servant of Hell. Horse go fast. Oh, there we go again with the... Oh, this one's far. The suicide bombers are attacking me. There we go, it's down. Who's this guy? Still bothering you? Wait, did I res him and then he got one-shotted again? Oh, two people are dead. There you go, guys. And the Mega Boss? You can tell it's the last boss because you'll get the health bar. Yeah. Scourge. Mini boss, sub bosses. Oh, knocked out already. There it is. There's another boss there. And we got, maybe it's a triple. As you can see here, we did get, I think it's the same dagger we already have because there's so few. Oh, look at it. So no legendaries, but we did get our unique of the day. We already have this. There's literally like less than 10 uniques, I think. Like, it's awful, but we'll talk about that in a second. All right, let's go back to town. That's a Legion. What else do we have? We got world bosses, which do appear earlier as well, so you'll be able to do those as you're leveling. I don't think we have one on the map right now, but it'll pop up just like the Legion did in the map, and I'll show you a timer. Usually you have more time though to get to a world boss. The Legion timer is much shorter. Fortunately, there is some bugs with the world bosses. I'll show you too as I put this back in here. I already have the exact same dagger. As you can see, I've got double, like I've I only have 8 uniques and 3 of them are doubles. I mean, I guess besides the ring, so but this one I don't really count because it's just given to you for beating the story, really. You'll see here I beat a world boss, Ashava, and it gave me a level 80 cache that I can't open when I was like level 70. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it. But now we're just collecting, because we don't get much gear. Basically after level 60, you're going to get your ancestrals, and then you really don't get a lot of gear upgrades or find the right stats very often. So I'm just like stockpiling gold now and materials that I don't really do anything with at this point. We do have one basically challenge left after these. We got the sigil dungeons to upgrade your cliffs. So if you open your inventory and consumables, you'll be able to look at these sigils. I believe it's the enchanter. It lets you break them down if you want to make higher tier ones. So you can craft them and salvage them. We'll salvage a few right now because we just have too many. And you always find more in the dungeons when you do them. There, get rid of those. And then we can craft some higher tier ones. Which makes it more difficult and I think increases some XP loot and whatnot, but not by as much as I'd want to. Craft one. Wow, we have a lot. Let's craft. Sure.
Do you feel it?
Those dungeons, and then there's I think one capstone dungeon left you get after you get to tier 4, and I guess we can go there just to show you guys. It's like I guess the final challenge of the game that you're kind of working like the last 40 levels of the game to get to. You can probably beat it sooner, especially if you get like a full party, but it's basically Uber and Ariel. And right now I think she just one-shots me and I just have no chance. Get little Lilith petals. Go in here. More tooltips. I'm just gonna go in so you guys can see, but I'm definitely not ready yet. Yeah, I need to get some more defensive abilities. There's nothing to really look at in here too. I think it's empty. There's no enemies but the boss, so we can just rush ahead. I don't know why they made it such a big gap. They're like, okay, the last one's supposed to be like level 70, but you can do it. Most people do it a lot earlier. And then you just come in and get slapped down like that. I mean, you're stuck in this like small circle too. Here, we'll let her slap us down again. Interact. So I do more damage at range, which makes this fight extremely annoying. Because I can't go in. I mean, like, I have to go in, actually, but like, I want to go out and not. And then there's well, that just exploded and killed me anyway. But it seems like I just don't have the toughness to be able to. A lot of those you can probably dodge or evade anyway, but that's the final boss, and I guess after that, there's really nothing to do. A lot of us paid for a battle pass already with the deluxe and ultimate edition, and basically got nothing. So it would be helping a lot with the end game to be able to work through that battle pass every day on whatever you're doing. But instead, we're not getting it till season 1, so it's a little bit of a scam. And for now, that's pretty much everything you can do at endgame. And I guess now we can talk about some of the problems or improvements I'd like to see. I'll say mostly it's just my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with them. Also, the main one that a lot of people talk about is the gem tab, or what that gems are even doing. So they take up one slot in your inventory and clog it up really fast. We'll go to my town, but I think you guys saw in my stash, I kind of just have them building up, and there's really not a lot you can do with them. So if you look at your gear, you end up getting like, there's 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 12 for a rogue anyway. You get 12 gem slots. But you'll see how many gems I've collected, and they just keep dropping and clogging up the inventory. Look at all the flawless I have of every type. I don't know what these are for. They're not worth anything. The sell value is terrible on these as well. So it's like you can't make cash out of them. That would have been at least something you could do. But I've just been collecting them if I make another character, because they're level dependent anyway. So at every level, I guess your future characters will be able to slot the gems right away. But this is just ridiculous. Like, you just keep collecting them and there's nothing to do with them. Okay. So everybody knows about the whole, like, I guess everything is kind of around your level. Besides when you go to tier 3 and tier 4, some things can be a bit higher, especially when you get to tier 4. If you go early, the monsters will wait for you to catch up to them, and then they'll start leveling up with you again, which is a bit weird since the rest of the game, everything is just around your level or a certain level, like few levels higher for it to be more difficult. But most of the time, you're getting weaker anyway, because you're never getting new gear. Like, most of the time, you level up, you might get 1 or 2 pieces of gear for that level. And then all the monsters are going to keep getting more HP and more damage as you level, and you're just not keeping up. Depending, you're going to basically be trying to use the Paragon system to catch up on some power. Ooh, unlock 100 Paragon nodes. Wow, we did it at level 72. This is my Paragon. It's a mess. But a lot of people have been mad that you can't respec, or the amount that it costs you to remove them and go and return to other pages. But usually you're just stuck. So if you make a lot of mistakes, you can't really do anything right now, and it's pretty frustrating to a lot of people who are just trying out to learn, and you can't really, it will take a long time to map out if you want something perfect. There are legendary nodes on different pages you can add. I don't even have any of that, even though this is like the marksman one. Some of them I just didn't see much value in any of these, or like trying to get to them. So I have a couple glyphs in that kind of help, and you can level them up to get more damage for sure. But other than that, it's not as complex in a way, but it is if you're trying to map it out to like min-max it and get every page perfect the way you want with each stat. But that would be really frustrating if you blow it a couple points and you can't get to the node you want to. So that's pretty much that system, Paragon, and the actual abilities. So if you look at you have 3 specializations you can pick from. I'm pretty sure it's the same for all the other characters. And then you have your actual skill tree too, where you don't really have a lot of variety in the builds. you get a couple moves to choose from at each node. So you basically you got five nodes usually at each. Well, this one only has four to five nodes at each station to choose from. This one only 3. Oh wow. And yeah, your ultimate's only 3, and then you get one passive at the end. Not really a lot of choices to make, especially if you're playing like a melee type build, then it's even less, and then it's actually splitting the skills. Unless you're trying to do like a hybrid build, which you only have 6 buttons anyway to work with, and you get to the point where you're just like you have your 2 main abilities, your ultimate, and then you have kind of like a passive, a defensive, and a movement, and you're just like locked in. There's not going to be like a lot of creativity, especially because of the just not a lot of legendary powers either. So like if we look at, let's go to Enchanter for a second. I didn't really notice when I was playing the beta that when you look at like the actual codex here, let's put something in just to look at it. What do we have to? Show my class only. So each item can only take certain aspects. Maybe I should put in one where we can see, but I mean these are just defensive ones I have unlocked, but all the items you get in breakdown for aspects are going to be better than the ones you unlock from the dungeons. So unless you're stuck at a point where you just don't have it, then it's always going to come stronger from getting an actual weapon and extracting the aspect than it is to do the dungeon and get the same ability. So there's not, I don't think there's any separate abilities. Like every ability you can get an item is all the abilities you can get from the dungeons. So it's like you think there's more, but there's not. It's just same crap. There's not much, and then even the uniques themselves, you cannot. I'm not wearing any uniques myself right now, just because they're really frustrating. Unless they have an exact power that's like really good for your build. So you can see like I have some Frostburns here, for instance, but I can't wear them even though they look like they'd be fun to freeze and extra stuff. I'm already freezing stuff anyway, so I'm already a cold build. But the gloves that I got have 4 ranks to my main damage ability. So I don't think I would ever want to give that up just to wear unique. Like my damage would drop so drastically. It just doesn't make any sense. And these other ones, so you can't extract the powers of uniques. You cannot re-roll like an extra stat on them. So you can't like imbue them, and also you can't trade uniques and legendaries with other players either. So they're kind of just sitting there. I just had like whenever I get one, I'm like, oh, well, that's cool, but there's only like 10 anyway, and they're not that great. You would think they would have abilities that could completely change a build or make a new build around the uniques, but none of them do. So it's kind of sad. Even the legendary powers, like I said, you can get them all from the dungeons already, and then at that point you're kind of just hoping to get an ancestral version that has like a higher percentage of whatever ability you're using, and they can appear, most of them can appear on any of that type. So anything that can get imbued or enchanted with that aspect can drop with it on it. So there's no real value in any type of gear. You might as well just find a yellow with really good stats and then put the orange ability you want on it anyways, because finding an actual legendary with the right stats you want on it is just brutal. Even now I'm still trying to replace this tier 1 amulet, but I've been waiting for something with just better stats on it so I can put that in and then swap out another power as well. I guess right now I've just been getting bored with the grind. I know I'm working on the renown still to get the extra paragons, which should help make me slightly more powerful, but the things will just level up with me anyway. So it kind of gives you like one full level for completing these. But it's taken a long time, and it's just end up being boring, especially when you're not getting new gear upgrades and there's no battle pass. You definitely need to make sure you take breaks, because even a lot of people are getting burnt out already in game without even trying like another class or anything like that. It would be nice if, yeah, either the abilities on the items themselves would create new builds, or there were available nodes in the paragons, anything that could just offer you like a different playstyle. But right now, everything's very basic and nothing really much changes from like level 60 to 100. There's not a lot really changing. So hopefully in the future updates, they're going to add a lot more new legendaries, a lot more new skills and abilities to let you customize your character and try out different just builds entirely. Because right now I can't, like, I like trying out new builds too, but that's another problem with the skill system they put in, is that you can't, like, you're kind of locked in when you choose your build and put on all the paragons with it. You end up getting locked in if you can't really try other stuff right now. They need to put in multiple other specs at least for us to try out, or let us be able to just freely refund what we need to just have fun trying out other builds. But right now we cannot. I guess the last thing to talk about is just how I mean, it just still feels like they put it out early with the amount of bugs that I've encountered along the way leveling. Even though I'm 72, which is not incredibly high, but it's still a decent amount of hours into the game, end game. I've run into a lot of problems just entering dungeons, and then I can't. There's some sort of bug where you just can't attack or use any abilities anymore when you enter like another instance. Or one time we were partied up, and every time we took each other's portal, it would put us in a new instance. It just didn't make any sense. There's just been all sorts of crazy bugs like that happening, where you're just like, did they not test this at all? Like, how are there so many bugs on launch like this? I mean, it's mostly been smooth gameplay, besides like the server crashes and other server problems they've had. Obviously, you could kind of expect that with launch. And the game overall, the game is fun, but the story, I don't know what happened there either. It seems like they didn't even look into the past stories of the first few Diablo games, and you end up with this. I don't really want to do any spoilers here, but it's just, the story is pretty much it's so forgettable. Like, after you're done, you get to endgame and you're like, I don't even know what happened. All I can think of in my head is why. I guess this is kind of a spoiler. It's like, why is Mephisto back after I broke his soul stone in hell in Diablo 2 or something? Like, how does he keep coming back? Nothing works. Like, and if he's back, then where's Diablo and Bill? Why aren't they back too? Because Duriel came back. It just doesn't. I don't. Lilith's back. Who's not back? It doesn't make any sense. But let me know what you guys think so far of the game. If you've been having fun with builds you're playing and stuff. I'm definitely gonna work on getting to level 100 and also kill the Uber and Daryl at some point. I hope you guys still enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Hello everyone who made it to the end of the video. This is Laser Pen Games, reminding you to smash that like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps out. And if you're looking for even more content, check out my Patreon here, where I post exclusive video content every month, and you'll have access to all of that.